following thoughts, opinions, stories, and expressions are meant for those who will appreciate them. If you don't, we hope you keep an open soul to encounter another here on 34 Questions. Peace. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, folks? Welcome to 34 Questions. I'm your host, 34. And tonight we have a very special guest. Eyes is in the building. How you doing tonight, Eyes?
Hello.
Want to thank you again for stopping by and being willing to share your story. I know it's not easy for everyone, so I definitely appreciate it when my guests come through and are able to go through the interview that I have ready for y'all. But for the folks out there who are unfamiliar with the flow of the show, we do some intro questions to start up, do a little warm up. After that, we'll jump into the Wheel of Fate. And then after the Wheel of Fate, we'll end everything with a few closeout questions. Sound good to you, Eyes?
Yes.
All right. Well, my very first question for you is, how have you been? Have you been doing great? Been doing good? How you been lately?
I've been doing much better. Expressing more gratitude is something that I'm doing at the moment.
I feel you. That's definitely been something I've been focusing on at this stage in my life. For you, what are some things you feel grateful for, if you don't mind sharing?
I've been grateful for some of the recognition that I've been getting in my career. But I've been more so grateful for the future.
For sure. I feel you.
So I sound confident that the future is great, but I'm grateful for the good things that the future holds for me.
I gotcha. You mentioned your career. Do you mind me asking which industry you're in? Or
I'm a singer, pianist, and actress.
Nice. Are you how long you been in it for? How long you been pursuing this career?
I've been singing and performing since I was 3 years old. I started taking music lessons really early on, singing and piano, experimenting with other instruments, and I'm very lucky to have done so starting at such a young age.
Gotcha. And kind of curious, out of the three, singing, pianing, or being a pianist, or actress, which one do you enjoy the most?
That's the thing, is all of them are kind of intermixed and the same to me. So when I play the piano, you can't help but sing. Sometimes when you sing, sometimes you have to play the chords. And sometimes, if not all the time, when you're singing, you're actually acting. It's a different style of acting than acting a character that isn't singing or performing in that way. But you kind of do all three. And even when you are even if it's a song about yourself, you're still putting yourself in your shoes when you wrote the song sometimes, or just exploring a different side of you. So you're still acting in a way.
I gotcha. For sure. Let's jump into some more warm-up questions. The next one for you is, what would you like the audience to know about you? Maybe something you haven't mentioned. Go for it.
Go for it. That's the name of my latest single, by the way. But
okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. Well, hey, the audience didn't know about that. So, but you mean like something just about myself?
Yeah, like you have your artist persona of Eyes. But as for you as a person, what's something that maybe your fans don't know about you?
That I love animals so much, and I would like to be in a movie where I get to play with professional animals who are not being abused. I just want to put that out there, because there are professional and unprofessional animals that get abused every day. But I want to play with the animals who aren't being exploited to the point to where it's terrible. I want to play with animals so bad and get paid for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. Two follow-ups is, what's your favorite animal? And Second, which animal do you think represents you the most? If they were gonna play you like as a character in a show or something like animated show, what animal would you choose to kind of represent your personality? So those two, favorite, and then one to represent your personality.
Well, let's start with my personality. I think a tiger will represent me. Because like I think that tigers are a little underrated, because I do think they are ferocious, but of course they're so cute and cuddly, and they're very sought after though. Unfortunately, they do get abused in some countries. It's really sad, but part of why they're so sought after are endangered is because of the power that they do have. Everybody wants a piece of that tiger. Like some people eat parts of the tiger. I mean, I know like this it's supposed to be about me, but like I think that's awful. But at the same time, the reason why people do it because they really believe that a piece of that tiger will change their life if they eat it,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I think a tiger will represent me, because it's cute and ferocious, but it's not like, yeah, it's cute, but it's ferocious. I guess that's just the quickest way to say it.
I got you.
Yeah, I can't say my favorite animal. I would say a dog, but I don't know. I want to play with more. Because you can have favorite animals, but just not live in a situation where you can have them. I used to have ducks and parakeets and fish and turtles and cats and dogs. So, right now, like cats and dogs are like, the most suitable for where I live. But when I lived in a house, it was pretty open.
That's what's up. You had all those pets at one time?
Yes, I did, and I miss it so much. Part of why I had ducks is because I felt bad. I felt bad for those ducks just being sold like that, like the little ducklings. And I didn't know anything about how to take care of a duck. And although I did a pretty good job, I will say for anybody who wants to own a duck and they actually love animals, you're not trying to hurt animals, just be a little bit more gentle, because I used to spray my duck with a hose, and then I was playing with him, and he would quack at me, and I thought we were just playing. And I noticed he would like yell at me sometimes, but then one day I turned the hose on myself, and I was like, whoa, that hurt. So if it hurt me, then it really hurt my duck.
I got
so
you.
Yeah. Be careful.
I was gonna ask, was it like, are ducks high maintenance? Like, do you have to like do a lot for them to
Not
like,
really. They're pretty happy. I cared for my duck in a high maintenance way. So in a way, you have to keep their pool clean, stuff like that. Yeah, and give them plenty of pools. And I spoiled him so much. I bought him canned corn, fish, and duck food. And I hate to see fish get eaten, but it's a part of the life cycle, and he needed to eat fish. It's a part of his life. Oh yeah, and snails and worms. I used to go to the fisherman's store, and he really thought that I was going fishing. I was like, no, what are you talking about fishing? I've never been fishing. I have a duck. I was like, really? Like, yeah. So, I mean, every other day I was bringing worms. And if you have a duck, you will not have snails or worms in your yard.
Interesting. All right, that's good to know. I think that's, yeah. I mean,
yes.
I've only seen the duck being a pet on, I think it was Friends, right? Was it a duck?
Oh, really?
I think they had, yeah. And yeah, it's the first time. I'm from out here in the Bay Area in California, so I never really knew anyone with like a pet duck before. So that's,
well, I lived in Oakland when I had my duck.
Oh snap, for sure.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, now you got me thinking that it's not out of the question. Are they loud? Like I feel like birds get super loud. Like as far as in times where you don't want them to be loud.
Okay. His quacks weren't that loud. Most people who have ducks have that type of duck, like Daffy Duck. So like a mallard or a drake, so they're not that loud.
Okay.
They're kind of loud. You can hear them, but it's like a quiet loud. And so,
All right.
it's not too bad.
You've opened the door for me to think about having a duck as a pet. Because I think that's hella unique.
Thank you.
But so all these pets, I kind of like, if you were gonna give me a number, do you remember how many you had at one time, or like throughout your life?
At one time,
or throughout your life?
Throughout my life, that's kind of tricky. I would say it's just roughly like 10, 16, 17,
in the 20s.
I'm still counting.
Oh snap! Well, I was asking because I wanted to see if I could guess based on the names maybe you had for them, like which animal it was. If you don't mind, but if not, that's not fun for you, then no, you don't have to participate.
So I think I've had maybe about 30, but you said you guessed the name of which animal?
So you would give me one of the names of one of your pets, and then I would try to guess which animal it was, and then
Daffy.
Yeah. Taffy?
Daffy.
Oh, Daffy. Well, okay, Daffy. I think. Unless this is a curveball, is it Daffy Duck or not?
Yes.
All right. I was feeling hesitant, but for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my second warm-up question for you is: if I were to do something in your honor, a way to express the energy you possess, what could I do?
Have a birthday party.
I like that. First time. Why a birthday party, if you don't mind me asking?
That represents me. I love my birthday. I love celebrating my birthday. I kind of treat people as if they're having a birthday. Not every day, but like a lot. I kind of try to make people feel special as if it was their birthday. I love giving my followers, my Instagram followers, free gifts. I actually like doing that. I should really ask people to buy my stuff, but I love giving my fans surprises and giving them an extra gift, and so when they open it, they feel real special. So yeah, like birthdays will represent me.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the first time anyone's said birthday. So like, but it gives me such a clear picture of what to do, and that birthday energy is always great. For the people who are able to celebrate their birthdays. I had another question with that, but I got you. Now we know what we could do in your honor. Oh, I was gonna ask, when is your birthday, if you don't mind sharing? I'm just curious now.
July 26th.
July 26th. All right.
Yeah.
Are you like into astrology, and you know what your sign is?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Leo.
Do you think that represents you well? I mean, and you chose tiger too earlier as the animal to represent you, but you feel like Leo fits you pretty well?
Yeah, I do. A lot of people say I don't remind them of Leo. I don't know why. I don't have a problem with it. I think the only things that I've heard, I wouldn't say it was offensive. It kind of may come off offensive is that, like, I met another Leo and she said we think we right about everything, and we know we right because we are right, or something like that.
Okay.
It's just the way that sounds is a little much for me.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were to explore that, a lot of times I know things because I actually am interested in a lot of things, and I put things together a lot. That doesn't mean I know everything, but I do know a lot of stuff about a lot of things.
I gotcha. Yeah.
I feel like I was talking about the tiger,
Yeah. No, I think the way that person put it, if I was gonna put it in a different way, it just sounds like Leos are confident, right? Like,
okay.
So yeah. That's how I take it. But
okay.
Cool. Moving on to the last warm-up question. On a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you know yourself?
12.
Word. Okay. If you don't mind me asking, why 12?
I know myself a little bit too well because I know myself well enough to know that I would do something that I wouldn't do because I know myself too well, if that makes sense.
I would do something that I wouldn't do because I think, I got you.
Yeah.
That's definitely one you got to think about for a second.
Mhm.
But okay. In that case, what would you say is your favorite thing about your personality?
I would say I have this deep thing going for me, but it's not, I don't get to talk about it to too many people,
I gotcha.
you know?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
And no
And
worries. Yeah. Go ahead. If it's too too personal, too close to your heart, you don't have to talk about it. I don't want to feel like I'm putting pressure on you to open up
no,
about these
I
things.
like to talk about this because like I think that like the deep thing is more of it's not really an age. Sometimes it is, but it's hard to, sometimes I think that people connect with me because they sense it, but it's not them all the time. It's a small part of them, but it's more me. That side of me is bigger than that, which is probably why I'm a songwriter or an artist,
Yeah. I got you.
So yeah.
So like, how would you describe the feeling that songwriting gives you?
The feeling, it feels like it's a purpose. Like I'm supposed to do it. Like I feel like I am the instrument, when I'm being played,
Yeah.
or when I'm being played. When I'm playing, I feel like, I don't want to say I feel like I'm being played, but if you take the hipster talk out of it, it does feel like that. It feels like I'm an instrument too. Like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah.
just feels together. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you're religious or spiritual at all. I think some people would kind of refer that to as like God playing through you, or but yeah. So, I got you. I definitely understand that feeling. Honestly, I think I've only been doing this podcasting for a little while, but having these conversations about like deeper than what people are used to is something I've been trying to do my whole life. So it doesn't make me feel like similar feeling of like I'm just the person that message or energy is flowing through.
Yeah.
I got you. Let's move on to the main interview where we start spinning the wheel. So we're gonna turn to the wheel of fate. I apologize earlier. I thought it was gonna be it was showing on your screen and it wasn't. So that was my fault. But here we go. Just as a reminder, each number has 3 levels: in easy, medium, and hard.
26.
And
July 26th. I like that number.
Perfect. Would you like to go easy, medium, or hard?
Medium.
Medium 26. So I know you said you were looking forward to the future. This question is, what worries you about the future?
Ooh, I'm grateful about the good things for the future, but there is a constant worry. I have an unfinished situation, but I'm grateful that it's been being stalled. This pandemic, it's actually helped my life a lot, and I'm very grateful for that. So, although I'm worried about it, I will say by telling you that, I feel better about it because this pandemic is like helping me in my situation. So maybe the pandemic will help some more. I mean, Hey, that's a dark way of looking. It's like dark humor or whatever, but it's kind of true.
No, I think I struggle with that feeling too. I think, the pandemic's been so like tough for so more people than it has been good. But, like you said, talking about being grateful, I'm pretty grateful for what it allowed me to do as well with my life. Had a lot of time to reflect. I had a lot of time to experiment with different hobbies and interests, and I came to that conclusion of this podcast and what I'm capable of doing. But yeah, no, I understand, and I think we're not alone. I think there's a lot of people who took this time to really like try to level up, right? It's like that one time where, at least I don't know for you, I wasn't working, and I was like, damn, so much free time to do what I'm passionate about. And yeah, so I hope for some people they found that time, if it wasn't just going through struggles the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all right. How about in not so much, let's say, your personal future, but like society's future? Any thoughts on that? Is there anything that worries you about society's future?
I'm worried about the strange things that the governor of the particular state that I live in might do. But other than that, I mean, I don't want to say I have faith in people anymore. Because going to the grocery store and seeing all that food taken, and they still have, like, I don't think that a lot of our problems are caused by our people. I think it's not, but at some point people have to react, and I don't worry too much about it, but there are issues. So, I mean, some people live their life by faith or by belief, but you can always mess that up by just being stuck in you. And I think that has been happening very often, people not having faith in what they believe in, so they're just reacting. And I think the problem is people taking something serious like an illness and turning it into a big time profit.
Gotcha.
So I'm more worried about the people it will affect in that sense.
I hear you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Let's move on to another spin. See where you land this time. And we got... Oh, we almost got to my favorite number, 34, but we'll stick with 33. Would you like to go easy, easy, medium, or hard on this one?
Let's go easy.
Easy. All right, 33, easy. How alive is your inner child?
Very alive.
Very alive?
Alive. I kind of protect her. Like, in some ways, this is my inner child right now. Like, imagine, like, really, I was a lot like this. Not 100%, but she's very alive right now. So, she never went anywhere. I just would say some of the physical things, I'm holding back. So I don't dance as much or like run around as much, due to some of my circumstances. But she's very alive and very inquisitive and very happy and learning. I love, like, I've been researching different musicians lately. In fact, I was reminiscing not too long. Okay, I don't mean to name drop, but like I used to be friends with Cab Calloway's great-great-grandson, and somebody just posted a gossip video about Cab Calloway, and I started thinking about him. Mm-hmm. And he looked so much like his great-grandparents, and just reminiscing and stuff. So I mean, She's alive. She likes listening to Cab Calloway. I like listening to Cab Calloway. And I actually have some new favorite musicians from the 20s, 30s period that I've just learned about and discovered. And now I'm happy and singing along. And it's something new that keeps my blood going, that keeps me excited and looking forward to new music and stuff. And I don't generally get excited about new music because I've studied it so hard that nothing surprises me. But I like these some of these new blues and jazz singers I've been discovering.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I gotta ask you, I like to discover new music as well. What names can you drop for me to check out? As far as, give me like one I guess 20s 30s artist, maybe one from 20s, 130s if you can. Go ahead.
Well, her name is Lizzie Miles.
Lizzie
I
Miles.
kind of didn't want to tell you about her, but she's basically the artist that I've been listening to. I love her arrangement of Some of These Days. As you can see, I was downloading the sheet music for free off the internet.
I got you.
Uh-huh. So like, yeah, and I've just been listening to this song, and I listened to a couple of different versions, and it's crazy. Because I never heard, if I've heard that song before, I've never paid too much attention to it or knew it. But her arrangement is really good. Because I've heard other people, especially people younger. So the young generation would be the 50s or the 60s for her. And I've heard them redo it, and it got boring. Because, that's when jazz started turning into that like cool stuff and just wanting to hang on to that one chord, that one minor chord. But that's what makes the song different. That song doesn't do that. And her arrangement is more, one of these days, Yeah, so it still has it, and that sadness that's in there, it's not supposed to be throughout the whole song. So I hear other people covering that song, and they're trying to keep that one sad note, that one sad chord, and keep that same rhythm, and it makes it a little boring. So she actually does it good. She does a good job with it. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. All right, Lizzie Miles, right?
Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, no problem.
Well, in that vein, I kind of want to ask, which artists influenced your music, and inspired you to get into it?
Well, we mentioned Cab Calloway. My biggest influence, like I don't want to say I hate to say it, but I would say Michael Jackson. But it's just the reason why I always like kind of sneak around it is because there's so many. I grew up listening to a lot of doo-wop music. So we know like the doo-wop thing exploded with Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. But that may not have been the first doo-wop song I ever heard or remembered or anything like that. So the 40s and 50s music and 60s was like kind of what I grew up listening to and mostly been inspired by. So you could say the Mamas and the Papas. Oh, Marian Anderson. She's an opera singer. So I just had a lot of like influences like that. But I would have to say more so when I'm in the studio, when I have a vision, Aaliyah, her presence really stuck with me. Even though I'm an artist myself, when I like another artist, and I don't like very many, it's because I can connect with you and I can see what you're doing. I can actually see what you're trying to accomplish. And she was a real artist. She wasn't just here to have a gimmick. She actually had artistry, and I respect that about her. So I would have to say Michael Jackson, Aaliyah, but with a lot of 50s and 60s influences such as doo-wop. And I want to say Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, but I think there's somebody with like a smoother sound. But growing up, we all watched The Wizard of Oz. So Judy Garland was a big part of my childhood because that was like the first song that I really learned and performed often. So Judy Garland as well.
That's what's up. I think you put me and a lot of people on to a lot of doo-wop music just now, because I felt like when you were talking
Yeah.
about it, I was like, I don't think I've ever heard like these artists before. So I'm excited to listen back to this and have a new like playlist I could come up that you just graciously gave me. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's move on and let's give it another spin. See what we get this time. Ooh. Going low, number 4. Easy, medium, or hard?
Let's do hard.
All right. 4 hard.
Simple number. Let's make it hard, and then we'll see if I pick another hard one again.
Okay. I got you. And like I said, if anything's too deep or something you'd rather not answer, you could always feel free to pass. Number 4, hard. How do you define ego?
That's a good question. Define ego. That's a good question, because when you experience someone's ego and then when you have an ego are two different things. So when
Elaborate. Yeah, let me know.
when you're having an ego, you think people understand you. But then when someone else has an ego, it's like, I don't know what this person got going on, but you gotta go, and it's a big problem. I will say I have been learning about my ego. So I think I know that I have an ego that's more, so I may not realize it, but the ego that I do know about just comes from being in the field that I've been in since I was 3, and being given bad advice to like assert myself a certain way with certain types of people that work for you. And it was bad advice. And I know I'm not the only person that does that, but it doesn't really fit my character. I do have an ego, and I don't think that is a problem, because like I said, I have been doing this since I was 3, but there are some things that I've been looking back on in my recent years where it's like, that was really unnecessary. And when I say, I think I should explain, because this is sounding worse than it was.
No, you're
but
fine.
Just no, let me explain, because I don't want people thinking I threw a something in the wall and broke a bunch of equipment or nothing like that. It's just I was given the advice to like kind of just remind people who I am at times, people that work close with me. So like just reminding people that I'm gonna push you. And I think I had said something like that to somebody who worked for me. It was just really unnecessary. And I feel like, it's unnecessary. Like I was trying to make a point, but I just feel like it was unnecessary, because I don't think it was ever an issue. He wasn't coming for my ego or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I was given the advice to do stuff like that, and now it's like, dang, I said all that stuff. And it's not that I feel dumb because like I insulted him. Like we're still cool. It's just like, to me, if I were someone else, like, I mean, I just put a bunch of, even if I'm not someone else, I put a bunch of energy into saying something that I didn't think was all that important to say.
Damn, I gotcha.
Yeah. So like I have like, or had like a bit of a fake ego. I have a real ego, but it seems to be understood half the time. I'm not saying that there are other times where, I think I'm aware of my ego. Now, other people's ego, I have to at least know where you're coming from. Everybody has an ego. And that's something that you just have to learn in this field that I'm in. So, yeah, I mean, you're saying to define it, but that's kind of hard, because I can only define the fake part that I just explained to you.
No, I got you. Yeah. Actually, I really dug what you started off with, which was like ego is when, well, at least our egos personally, like mine is when I think people can understand me, or like or vibe with me. And I guess I'd never like to admit that, I have a big, I try to, I still try to practice humility and, staying humble and not thinking that way. But I'll say that, but, there's always going to be a part of me that feels like not only that people can connect with how I feel or what I think, but I think we can connect to like each other's and everybody else's. Like, if anything, I don't know what counts as a healthy ego, but I hope that, that just that view is indicative of one that, like, because you're right, everybody has an ego. As far as like a fake ego and a real ego, my first like dream I was pursuing was being a rapper, and I quickly realized that for not all artists, but for, I would say, majority, there's like the character or the fake ego. I think you were talking about that artists like have to portray and like put out there, and then we have our real ego, who's still that, at least for me, my personal name, that's who I was. And I always tried to be that personal me, or like my real ego, and try to put that into my artist career. That didn't work. That doesn't work, I don't think. For a lot of folks, you always got to have like this character you want to build out, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It could be a piece of you or a part of you, but it's not the entire you that I think a lot of fans or a lot of folks think it is, but yeah, so just wanted to add those 2 cents in that.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for another spin. Thank you for sharing. Actually, I had one, so let's figure out what number this is. 15. Before we get to the 15, I remembered one of the questions I wanted to ask you, which was your ego, your personal ego, or like your good ego, your real ego. Has it more helped you or hurt you, would you say?
I gotta be honest with you, I think my ego has helped me, but it's just that the kind of life that because like we talked about me being a Leo, I kind of am supposed to naturally have an ego, and most people say you don't seem like a Leo to me at all, and I think that's part of the personality trait they might be pointing to. I do have a big ego. I've been humbled so bad in life, like unnecessary, like being just mistreated, etc. as a child, that people probably don't see it off the top, so like for example, like I'm in preschool, I got in trouble for telling like the kid, I was playing house and I got in trouble for like saying shut up, and I was like sitting on the table like shut up. Okay, so that was an ego, and I quickly got an ego check because I got in trouble, right? And they banned me from playing house, but they didn't ban me for 3 days. They banned me forever. And the thing is, and this was abusive, in my opinion, because of the person who did it. And I'm gonna probably tell you, you'll probably see why maybe my ego doesn't always operate like that, and why I had to get a fake one at that time. Because the woman who banned me from there, she was jealous of me. Although I was in preschool, I had a boyfriend, and like I kissed him sometime after that. I mean, I couldn't go play house. And then I got in trouble for kissing him. He didn't get in trouble for kissing me. Like, I got in trouble for kissing him. And like, she just really had it in for me. Like, she was a lesbian. I don't know if that has something to do with it. I'm not accusing all lesbians of acting like that. I'm just saying, but at the end of the school year, when I graduated, I performed because I booked a gig like to sing there, and they didn't have anybody else to sing, so she kind of had to. And when I got up there and performed, she realized that I could sing, and she started crying. like the other teachers knew, everybody knew I could sing and that I had done acting lessons and that I was somebody. And then before I left, the last thing she did, she got on her knees and she grabbed me. She said, "You can really sing. You can sing." And she was crying. And it's like I kind of, when you're a child, you're better for stardom than any adult would be, because you know what that is. You know what that means when that happens. You don't explain it. There's no words to explain it. And I just said, "Thank you." And I just walked on, I wasn't shocked, but the thing is I learned my lesson about that. And I even bought a new table and gave to the preschool. And when I gave it, even after I graduated, I still was not allowed to play in there. And I'm in kindergarten or first grade now, and I'm still banned to this day from playing house there. So I know exactly. So like, maybe that's why my ego, it's not, I mean, I have one, but it's like, maybe that's why, that's just an example of the kind of abusive things that I kind of had to go through with my ego. So,
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know that was one particular incident in time in your life. I hope your egos, well, you did mention that your egos helped you more. So I'm happy that it's turned around.
I think it helps you look at things differently,
No, for sure. Personally, for me, I think it's a 50-50, helping and hurting, like everything's in balance. But all right, let's go for another spin. How are the questions been? Not too bad, right?
That's pretty good.
All right, for sure. Number 29, easy, medium, or hard?
Let's do hard.
All right, 29, hard. What does your personal afterlife look like? If you believe,
my personal afterlife.
Like because I think so. What the reason why it's phrased this way is that I think what we truly believe is what's gonna like kind of manifest in our next life. If a person believes heaven is like what religions believe, then it'll be that kind of look in heaven. But if you got one where what would be heaven look like for you, I think that would manifest for you and your soul like in the afterlife. So for you, what does your afterlife look like?
I really think that I would just be reincarnated in very prestigious circumstances. I really do think. I think that because I've heard someone say like you choose your parents before you're born, and I think I think if we do, we choose them because there's an aspect of who they are, and we want that in us, I think that I would choose because that deep thing that I spoke about earlier, I don't think I would want to lose that. I think that if I were to be like reincarnated, I'd be very similar to who I am. I just think that I would be a little bit more on the elite side of life, so that I wouldn't have to, so that if I ever did anything like run away, or because you hear stories about a lot of rich people, it's just not for them, and then they're just bumming the rest of their life. They always can go back. So I think I would probably be something like that. Not the bumming part, because I would like to think that I would have more sense than that. I think that it's okay to feel that way about money, but for some people who don't have, that's not healthy. But it's also not healthy to be greedy either. So I just think that I would be I would come back more as an elite, more of an elite family. There's nothing wrong with my family. We've had bad circumstances, but if we were more elite, a bad circumstance for, like, let's say the mayor or the governor, a blow to them would not be a blow at all. Like, oh, I don't get my 5 massages. I can't get a massage 3 days out of the week. You know, now
Yeah.
you're getting it once a month. It's not a problem. It's not a serious problem. You know, I mean, something like that. I think, yeah. I like me, but oh, some of the circumstances, some of the circumstances. Yeah, I would pick a life with less taxing circumstances.
No, I got you.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're gonna be leveling up next
Yeah.
life. For sure, for sure. That's interesting, cause like, a part of me does believe that, like, reincarnation too. I don't know. It's I have a lot of thoughts on it. I know I don't know anything. It's just me trying to be creative and imaginative of what could be. But yeah, reincarnation. Like, I think there's a time where our soul kind of rests and explores what's outside of this earth, and then eventually it does come back. Like, things go in cycles, or comes in cycles. I think that's one of the cycles of our souls. But yeah.
I think too, like the heaven part, like, and resting, and like, I think I kind of like skipped that part, but I think that me doing music is a part of up there, because like I've worked with people that say they gotten chills, because I found out, like, I found out something my grandmother did, and then somebody was suggesting a whole certain time period, and they had a venue. I said, my grandmother performed at that venue. Like, I just found out she performed at that venue, and now you're asking me to do a project there. And she said, I just got chills. I knew this was the right decision. So I kind of think that, like, by fulfilling your purpose, some part of you is kind of in heaven.
I got you. No, I definitely understand that.
Some part of you now. Heaven would be like, my whole body is moisturized, and yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think there's definitely gonna be moments in our lives that just feel just right, just perfect, and that maybe that is it. Maybe that is it. And like, would you say equal parts that would mean there's a part of us that might be experiencing the not so good heaven? You know what I mean? But yeah.
Like, when I was younger, like, I used to hear other people say that. I think it exists, but I don't think it's exactly that. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like some of the terrible, absolutely, I won't get into how terrible, but some of the absolutely terrible things that I've been through, I don't think that was hell. I think it was some of the worst things that I've ever experienced. It was absolutely terrible, but I wouldn't consider it what people consider hell. For some people, hell is a good place. There are, like, a religious group that believe in hell, and to them that is heaven. And it doesn't seem like the fiery underworld that we hear about in Christianity. I used to be a Christian, but I just don't. Of all the terrible things I've experienced, I feel like maybe it was something from there, but it wasn't there. And I don't think. You know what? You're right. Yeah, maybe some of it is that, because some of the evilness that people have in their heart, they make the world like hell.
Yeah.
Like, just your actions by being careless about something, by being dirty all the time and attracting rodents and stuff like that, that you are creating your own hell. Actually, thank you for bringing that up. You're right. I think you're more right about that. So I have experienced that in that way, but I keep my faith, or try to keep more positive parts of me rather than just experience all of it, you know?
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, and I think my point in bringing that up was just thinking of the whole balance thing. I think for me in my life and how I'm seeing things, it's like there are moments in heaven and there can be moments in hell too. You know, it's kind of like it's a mindset sometimes too, right? Like you said, some people enjoy maybe hell more. I don't know.
Yeah, you put it that way.
Yeah, you know, I don't think I'm ever right. So anybody out there listening, don't take my word for gospel. But
like hell for them is paradise, and it's not a bad place.
Yeah.
They probably think that heaven is a bad place because they feel like they'll be forced to do everything that God says. But for them, hell is a place where you can be free. Like, that was just their philosophy. Now, I'm not saying I believe that, but I'm just saying for them, you know, heaven wouldn't be where they would want to go.
For sure. Thank you for sharing your perspective. I think that was we had a great back and forth on that one. Well, we made it to the final stretch of the podcast. I just have a few closeout questions for you. But before we get there, are you familiar with mantras?
Yeah. Is that like the affirmations and you say them over and over?
When you need them. But I do something called the 34th mantra with my guests. I have these 3 phrases, 3 fill in the blanks that I'd just like you to fill out for yourself. And it is, I am, I can, I will. I am blank, I can blank, and I will blank. How would you fill those in for yourselves?
Do they all have to be the same word, or they can be 3 different?
They're generally 3 different statements. So first one's I am.
I am a winner.
I am a winner.
I will succeed.
Okay.
And the third one is, what was the prefix?
So you got I am, I will succeed, and then it's I can blank.
I can do it all.
For sure. I can do it all. And if you ever need the reminders, now you got a little recording of yourself, you know, just reminding you for the future. And here we go with the final stretch. My next question is actually from my previous guest. Shout out to I Am Joker Man. His question for you is, which hero do you relate to most?
You know, so this is to Gray's, like, I'm not an expert in comic book.
No. This is how you take it. Yeah, go for it.
But from what I understand, Superman is the only superhero that had to disguise himself as normal, right?
Yeah.
And all the other ones are normal, but then wear a disguise to be a superhero, right?
I got you.
Yeah, I think I relate to Superman the most because he really is Superman, and he really can't hide it. He just tries his best to hide it, but he has class, because even if he didn't have to hide it, it wouldn't be right to let everybody know that you you Superman. That even if it was okay, that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, I am a comic book person, so I've been thinking about that sometimes. Like, if I was Superman, do I really care about, like, do I ever begin with a alter ego to begin with? You know, like, when I'm young, I know what I can do. Do I even pretend to be Clark Kent at all? You know, but nah, I got you. That is interesting. I like that choice. I like the reason. I wonder. I'm thinking for myself, and I'd have to give it a lot more thought, to be honest. But next question in the closeout is, what would you like to ask the next guest that comes on to 34 Questions?
Are you ready to go deep?
Are you ready to go deep?
Yes.
Gotcha. Now, like, for you personally, are you a person who likes it, you know, to go into the deep end, or keep it more shallow, or like on the surface, you know?
I keep it shallow because I am deep. I try to keep it very surface level, like, that's why, like, you know, you got to pretend to be Clark Kent. It's not, I mean, being a superhero, everybody can't take that. Oh, excuse me. Oh, you need to get by? Oh, I'll just lift this train up for you. Yeah, that's not going to sit well with everybody. Even if it was a nice gesture, everybody can't handle that.
Yeah, no, I got you. I think that's a big reason why I tried to create this platform, because I was that dude at the party asking questions that probably people didn't want to talk about at a party, and that made me kind of you know, like, I had to, like, I just shut that part off of me in parties, and create a platform where I can be Clark Kent, you know, or not be Clark Kent, but like be a hero, yeah. But yeah, that's another realization. Damn. And my last question for you, the question that ties everything together, is, what would you like your descendants to know about you? So think 100, 200 years from now, your descendants are watching this video. What would you like to tell them?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say hello. And that know who you are. Like I said, certain things are shallow on the outside, but on the inside, we are something else. And that's something that I had to remember. You know, I had to remember that. My grandparents, you know, I don't care what time you're in or how you choose to go about your life, but you're still you. That doesn't mean you have to do every single thing, but just remember who you are. Okay? Because, you know, you can have friends and all of that stuff and let the world think they know who you are, but you know who you are. That's just a small piece. You know, you would think I would talk about my musical legacy and all of that, but it's just something, you know, for my descendants to be reminded of who they are and their culture. You know, there's nothing wrong with our culture, you know, as Americans. You know, they tell us that, you know, everything's so bad for you because it's from the South or because it's from this or that, and then years later, oh, scientists have proven that this is actually good for you. We're sorry, you're not dumb after all. Yeah, right. Your grandparents knew what they were doing. Just like I found out, like, my grandmother, she actually saved my life when I was little, like, with just like Vicks. And she used to always tell me to open, like, keep something on your chest and then open another shirt, and so you could get air on your chest or something like that. And then I just happened to read something the other day. I was like, wow, my grandma was right, because some of the earliest medicines, like, to like open your lungs to help you breathe, it actually is absorbed through your chest. I was like, oh my God. Like, yeah. And I used to think that my grandma, like, just knew this stuff because she was from the South, like this whole wisdom, but she was actually a nurse, like a really important nurse. I never knew that till like years after she died, but that would explain as to why she saved my life so many times, because they had really bad asthma. But but yeah, like yeah, I mean, I guess I should probably say something about my musical legacy though. Like I just want them to know, music is a part of me, and I was just born that way. But so was my family. It was important to my grandmother, to my mother and her sisters, and even her father. And the training part, the prestige part, is from them and their legacy. And as far as my dad, he enjoys music, but there's an entertainment streak in him because he was an athlete, a star athlete. So, the music is very important, you know.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I think like a lot of folks sometimes they don't know what to say to their descendants, but I think like a big part of why this podcast was made was because I didn't get to know my grandparents. I didn't get to know like who they were. So the fact that you're able to like I think you gave your descendants like a personal side of you, the artist side of you, and you also gave them more like your descendants. Like you talked about your ancestors, So yeah, you gave them a full, well-rounded answer, and if you're watching, I hope you definitely appreciate it. Any last things you'd like to add before we head out of here?
Stay positive. I am a winner. I will succeed. And the third one was, I can do it all. I can do it all. So I want to give those mantras to the other people who are listening, particularly my fans and my supporters. If you're having a bad day, say those mantras. Even if you don't believe in them, just try it just to humor yourself. And I hope that it will make you feel better, even if it just makes you laugh.
I feel you. No, I feel you. And just putting out that energy.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to just thank you one more time before we head out. Definitely appreciated our conversation. I think we had a great one. I hope you had fun as well. And for the folks out there, I want to thank you if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or checking this out on YouTube. Definitely appreciate your time as well. Remember to reach out, reach forward. As always, much love. And we'll catch you guys next time on 34 Questions. Peace. And then it fades out. But yeah, that was an interview.